What is up, my cutouts cardboard ninja coming at you with news from the potential test server that is staring into entropy itself. It's crazy. It's crazy. If you guys thought, oh man, those recent test server changes sure were changing a whole fucking lot to Crossout with the mass changes, with the high, low, super high movement parts, with all that bullshit, you just strap the fuck in. Just strap the fuck in, because they are changing, or at least potentially attempting to change, RAM damage mechanics and energy consumption and energy supply all at once. Because, you know, when you're going to change one thing, you should change everything. And when you make that change, it should be dramatic and fucking crazy. So let's get into it real fast. Long story short, current game mechanics for collision damage is crazy. In the game, for those of us who don't know, your collision damage is insane because it's based on a multiple of, it's not even a multiple, based on an exponent of your vehicle's mass. There's the division by the speed of light. There's a huge calculation that goes into this. And certain things, such as melee weapons, give you multipliers to that up to like 300% damage if you're using like, not the twin blade wing, but those Dawn Children melee parts and things like that. And, of course, everyone knows the Tusk. So, they're changing it. And there's a reason why. So, a lot of people have been complaining, hey, yo, when you collide, sometimes there's no damage. Some people have noticed that. You ram someone, nothing happens. Ramming at high speeds causes parts that aren't even hit to get hit. Because the way that the damage is calculated, the way that things work, you'll end up losing your frame if you end up ramming into things, and it doesn't make any sense, even if there's spaces between the frame and the collision endpoint. Yeah, it's crazy. That's a bug. And then the calculation of damage value has an overly strong dependence on speed, which we all know. Tusk boosters fly around, and if you're moving very quickly, you do an insane amount of damage. You can do, in the current system, far more than 9,999 damage. There is no way to actually calculate the damage cap in the current system because of the fact, and this is of course with a Tusk booster, there's no way to calculate it because nothing can survive it. There is nothing in the entire game, not even Leviathans, can survive a Tusk boosted RAM. Though the only reason why Leviathan might is because of the fact that it's got the greater mass. But basically, anything that you hit with a Tusk boost, well, you know, with a Tusk booster, if you're fully stacked, is going to disappear. And there's no way to actually calculate the damage because the damage is so incredibly high. So, what they're going to do, fuck over ramming. The very long story short is they're creating new mathematical formulae. They're creating a new way to calculate impact, and they're applying it. Basically, the idea is that if you're moving in one direction, they're moving in the other direction, you're moving at 100, they're moving at 50, and you get into a head-on collision, it's just adding these two values together for your player impact. There's other options where player 1 is going 100 and the other person's going 50, and so the collision, it's just like real life. If you're moving 50 miles an hour and someone crashes into it at 100 miles an hour from behind, it's basically as if they hit a stationary target at 50 miles an hour, right? Pretty straightforward. And then, of course, there's perpendicular angles. Long story short, you'll bump into each other. But the idea is that they're going to create damage cones. And the idea is that at the time of impact, there's a cylinder that's formed and it passes through damage. But it's basically turning collision damage into projectile damage. The way that projectile damage is calculated in Crossout is X amount of damage is dealt, and then it passes that damage through the first part. Overflow damage goes over based on penetration mechanics and all that stuff, shit like that. They're going to give collision 100% penetration and basically just do it like that. So that way damage will be more consistent. Here are the issues. Long story short, when they say they're making damage more consistent, it means that they're nerfing collision damage. This is a fact. Everyone knows it. If you go on the marketplace right now and look at the Tusk, Tusk was selling for like over 1,500 coins. It's going down precipitously. They're trying to get rid of their Tusks. All right, changes. Basically, long story short, there's going to be a lot of this new mechanic is going to make collision more reliable, but by that it means it's bringing the numbers down like a lot, so it will actually be calculable the amount of damage you get with Tusk booster, which means that Tusks are getting addition to all that other stuff like that. Also, they're adding a new damage type because there aren't enough damage types in the game. presently everything that does collision damage is something that you would consider melee weapons. So harvesters do collision damage, and ram damage is collision damage. Well, they're changing that. So they're saying, no, 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 no. We're going to make ram damage its own thing, and melee damage its own thing, and never the twain shall meet. And values are not going to be the same. Values in white are going to be the new values. Values in the parentheses are values that currently exist. What this means is every item in the entire game that has resistance to melee get nerfed. Nibbler getting nerfed, Flayer getting nerfed. Basically, melee damage is going to now cut through bumpers significantly faster than they used to. Remember, bumpers used to have a 90% collision damage resistance. They cut it down to 80, which is, by the way, a huge, 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 huge nerf. When you start dealing with things near 100%, every percentage that you change when you're nearing 100% is dramatic, right? So changing 90% damage resistance to 80% damage resistance is a 100% increase to damage. That's how big that is. So you're like thinking, what? No. Let's assume something has 100 hit points, but it has 90% damage resistance. If you do 100 damage, it meant that you did 10, which means that you'd have to do 100 damage 10 times to destroy that item. But if you have 80% damage resistance, you do 20, which means you only need to do damage 5 times. So cutting from 80 to 70, that's a huge nerf. Cutting down from 80 to 65, that's a huge nerf. Melee is going to start cutting through bumpers real quick. Like, real quick. These aren't, like, if you look at, you're like, oh, 80 to 75%. That's not that much. It is. That's a lot. So every single bumper in the entire game is catching a nerf. Its durability is also coming down in many cases, like 70 to 54, 70 to 52. So these bumpers are coming way down in durability, like way down in durability. I think they're also coming down in mass, maybe. Just a quick cursory look. Looks like they're very minorly coming down in mass, but it looks as though they're nerfing bumpers, like across the board. Just straight up across the board for collision resistance and durability as well. That is ridiculous. But let's see here. Where's the snowplow? Yep, it's losing a bit of durability. So super heavy. The screener's losing 41 points of durability. Like this feels like they're trying to slip in a nerf to bumpers because everyone covers their car in bumpers to protect themselves from damage naturally. And so they're nerfing bumpers in general, and they're also nerfing what bumpers are good at the same time. Huge nerf to bumpers. In addition to that, they're adding more bumpers. So the bore, Holback, Torino, rear, Mimpo, basically things that look like they should have been bumpers are now bumpers. So you know those front plates, like the Corderia nose cut, and you know the things that are meant to go on the fronts of vehicles that for some reason weren't bumpers. Yeah, they're bumpers now. Cool, neat, just neat. They're bumpers now, but you can hear me sighing because of the fact that these are the amount of changes are massive. Small plow durability down from 216 to 166, though mass comes down correspondingly. Durability also, damage resistance also cut by 10% on, remember, melee, not collision. So they're getting more collision resistance, but they're getting less melee resistance. So what this means is, if you have a bumper and someone crashes into you, the defensive perimeter is going back up to 90% damage resistance. Yay! However, if someone's using melee, damage resistance down. By the way, just so you know, melee weapons, even though they did melee damage, they did collision damage, now it's being split up, they also do ram damage, just so you know. So you can fuse your melee weapons to have additional ram damage currently in the game. So I don't even know how that's going to play out. Snowplow, all these things are going up to 90% in their resistance to collision, but going down in their resistance to melee. So, huge changes. Also, damage pass-through is going to exist, or, the terrible bar is gaining damage pass-through, which will increase its durability against bullets, but be passing damage through. Just crazy Crazy shit. Continuing on, passive melee weapons are also getting changed. So, right now, for example, it wasn't the Twin Blade Wing, it's the Cutter. Cutter has 300% bonus to damage. That's coming down to 150. Massive nerf to the Cutter. Massive nerf. Its durability is being decreased again to 20? What? So the Cutter, which is currently like the default, not the default, it was put in the game recently and it just does assloads of damage, but has no melee resistance. Oh, look at that. It has even less. It does even less. Its durability is 20. It's gonna have 20 durability with only 50% resistance to melee. So it's gonna have a total of 40 durability against melee. And its resistance to ram damage is coming down also by 5%, which it already took double the damage of every other melee weapon. Okay, so Cutter's nothing special anymore. The Thorns are going to be basically the same thing. Yeah. Ugh. You can only hear me saying ugh because this is crazy. So one of two things is true. Either melee damage is going to go up so precipitously that the bonus to ram damage doesn't need to be that high, or they're nerfing the balls off of ram damage. They didn't give the formula, by the way. They never said the formula. They just said that they're nominalizing it. So there you go. They're just nominalizing it. So there's no way to know what the new formula is until the test server comes out. The Cerberus, which is the melee cabin that has a melee weapon on the front. The Bastion, which has the front plate, etc. Tracks, ML200, Big Ram, Shivs, they all gain 50% resistance to melee damage. They already have that. It's called 50% resistance to collision, but now they're giving it 50% resistance to melee also, so basically they're staying the same. The Geridia is gaining 25% resistance to melee. Tusk. Remember what I said about nerfing the Tusk? The bonus to ram damage reduced from 200% to 100%. So, oh my god, change the collision in the front part of the cabin for more stable realization of the ram. And bonus from one charge of the perk reduced from 60% to 40%. And the distance for one perk charge reduced from 100 to 80 meters. So it's a minor buff in the fact that you'll be able to charge up the Tusk a little bit faster, but a major damage percentage nerf because the damage bonus is reduced from 200% to 100%. Like, it used to be 300%. Yeah, no, this is crazy. So the Tusk is getting kind of caught in this. We all saw it coming. It's the ram damage cabin, but unless collision damage is going to be exceptional, then this is a huge mega nerf, but there's no way to know without knowing the formula. Frames, added resistance to ram damage is increased, added 25% resistance to melee damage, so melee, it stays, basically, this is staying the same. This means it stays the same against melee, but they want it to be a little bit better against collision for whatever reason. Bonus to ram damage reduced on the Goblin and the Gremlin, and they, of course, gain resistance to melee equal to what they currently have. The Draco gains that melee resistance as well. All of the melee weapons, Borer, Buzzsaw, Lacerator, Mauler, etc., gain 50% resistance to melee. And yeah, that's nothing. Sorry for wasting all your time, because that shit ain't nothing compared to the next changes, chat. If you held on this long, holy shit. Changes in energy consumption and energy supply. You might be sitting there thinking, well, what does that mean? Currently, you guys know what's up. Every cabin, epic or above, gives 12 energy. Unless it's a heavy cabin, they get fucked down to 11. Standard. No. Here's the problem. Things are too homogenous. What we're going to do is, and this is, I shit you not, instead, light cabins are going to give double what they give. Medium cabins are going to give double -1. Heavy cabins are going to give double -2. What? You might say, what? And that's correct. So we'll take the standard cabin that we would all understand. We'll go with the Torero. Torero is a medium cabin. Currently, a medium epic cabin. Currently, the Torero gives 12. Well, what they're going to do is instead make it give 23 energy. So they're going to double it to 24 and then subtract 1 because a medium cabin is not as good as a light cabin. By the way, light cabins are already super fucking dominant, so they just want to make sure that light cabins remain so. Whereas the heavy cabin is just going to straight double its energy because it's already worse. So 11 goes to 22. 8. 12 goes to 23, and of course, 12 goes to straight up 24 for light cabins. So, I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, wait, we're gonna have 25 energy to deal with 24 energies with the Beholder, 25 with the Griffin. This is crazy, right? Hold on a second. In exchange for that, they're dramatically increasing, mostly by double, the energy cost of items. But also, generators are increased by the amount of energy they give. Big G goes from 1 to 2. The Ampere goes from 2 to 4. So they're just doubling it, right? Wrong. Heavy generators are going to generate 1 more. So it goes from 2 to 5 for the PU1 charge, from 3 to 7 for the bootstrap, and the Apollo will go from 4 to 9. Okay, question mark. Why are they doing this? Because they want to dick around with hardware. Their argument is, hey, wait a minute, we've got all this hardware in the game, but people only use the best hardware. That makes us sad in the pants. We're sad panda that people are using the best hardware, which is what one does in the video game, but they don't like it. It makes them mad, mad in their penis. They're like, no, we need you to use garbage. So, things such as the R1 Breeze and of course the R2 Chill will remain using 1 energy. But people who use the RN Seal, that goes up to 2 energy because it's just too good. It's too good. So you pay more for that. We're smart. We figured it out. Except what they didn't think about was math. Because math exists. The R2 Chill, fused R2 Chills, 2 fused R2 Chills, because it costs 1, and the RN Seal costs 2, you can put 2 of them on, is absolutely fucking better than the RN Seal. Holy shit. A fused RN Seal is not better than 2 fused R2 Chills. So, what are we doing here? Why would we use the RN Seal? Why would we do that? It even costs less power score to use 2 of them. We would just use 2 R2 Chills. We'd fuse 2 of them and use them because they have the same energy cost. What are you doing? Remember, energy generated is doubled in effect. In effect, there's minor tweaks and stuff like that, but energy generated is doubled. So if energy generated is doubled and the R2 or the R2 Chill doesn't have a doubled energy cost, this is just better. It's just better. I don't know what they're doing. This is some crazy shit. Engines just go from 1 to 2 across the board, unless you're legendary, in which case you get fucked. So Pegasus, for whatever reason, even though honestly I don't believe the Pegasus nor even the new Finwhale are better than the Oppressor nor the Colossus, I believe they're simply variants. I don't believe they're better. I genuinely don't. The Pegasus is getting fucked, and the Finwhale's getting fucked. So you just have to pay more for the Pegasus effect, which makes no sense because, I mean, that's just nerfs over heavy. Does no one understand what they're doing here? The Pegasus exists for heavy cabins. This is a heavy cabin specific engine. The Pegasus makes it so super heavy builds are even possible. Come on up here to cabins. Heavy cabins are getting fucked. They're getting fucked. This just fucks over heavy cabins. So now, instead of paying the equivalent of 1 energy for the generator, or 1 energy for the engine that allows you to play your build, instead of paying 1 energy, you're going to pay 3. Yes, you have double the energy you have now, but you're paying 1.5 times the cost. It gets worse, don't worry. Obviously, the Shiver is getting nerfed over the Cooler, over the Taimir. Detectors, the Maxwell stays 1, but the fucking Doppler goes to 2. So they're basically making these things better. Here's what's really stupid. I really thought this was really funny. I was like, oh, now there's actually a reason to use the KA1 Discharger because it does 15%. No, they're nerfing it down to 10%, back to what it was before, and keeping the energy cost 1. It's still worse. There's no reason to use this. You will never use this. You're not going to use this. There is absolutely no reason to use the KA1 Discharger. You will always use the flywheel. They don't get it. I'm literally at a loss for words. They just don't get it. This would be a great time, by the way, for them to fix the Argus to make it cost 0, because it should be free, because it's dog shit. But instead, they're not. They're increasing carjack energy from 0 to 1 because now, instead of losing power when activated, you actually gain power. And they're removing the mounting restriction of the iris and the carjack, meaning that instead of having only one, you can again have multiples. And that's because of the fact the iris costs 1 energy now instead of 0, because the iris is in fact just simply better than the TS1 Horizon and Neutrino. It just is a better scope. It is the best scope. Mosey on down to weapons. Yeah, all weapons are getting double power consumption, except for these. These are getting double but with a bonus. Parsers, the shotgun is getting double, except now you're paying more. So it's the Parser's getting nerfed. The Avenger's getting nerfed. The Avalanche is getting buffed. Instead of going to 24, it's going to 23. The Yongwang is getting nerfed. The Snowfall is getting buffed. Heather is getting nerfed, obviously. The Mandrake is getting buffed, though, because the Mandrake is worse than the Heather. Let's be honest. They both cost 7 right now, but the Mandrake is total dog shit. Making it 13 is not going to make it better. It's still going to be dog shit in comparison. The Trombone is getting nerfed. The Nest is getting buffed. The Varan is getting buffed. The Porcupine is getting nerfed. Capcan is getting nerfed. King is getting nerfed. Which, by the way, Hadron King builds, get fucked. Just get fucked, Hadron King builds, because you're getting nerfed on your energy. Because, you know, fuck you. For some reason, they just can't even. The Kaiju is getting buffed. The Enlightenment stays the same. Such a bad weapon. Summoner buff, Argument buff, Borer nerf, Buzzsaw nerf, Mauler nerf, Lacerator nerf, Charbitus nerf. Why what? Why nerf the Charbitus? Why would you do this? Why would you just give the Charbitus 6 energy? It is a bad weapon. Nobody uses it. Anyway, so the new test server is kicking off on the 22nd. And I think I actually have to make a video from the test server because this shit is crazy. This is staring into entropy itself. Days nerf, by the way. This is staring Tormentor nerf. This is staring into entropy. This is crazy. This is ridiculous. This energy system, I don't even know what to say. I mean, making sure that heavies get completely fucked over still is such a weird. It's so weird to me. Why do they hate heavy cabins so much that they want to make the difference between light cabins and heavy cabins even greater? Under this new system, only legendary light cabins actually gain in energy. So for those of us confused, looking at this here like double whatever, no. The only cabins in the entire game that are going up in energy from the current system is legendary light cabins. So a legendary light cabin is I already mentioned earlier, the Griffin, the Thyrus or whatever that is, the one that came out recently, and I think there's got to be the Kami. So those three go up. They actually gain an energy out of this. Legendary medium cabins stay the same as they go from 12 to 24. Epic medium cabins get fucked for some reason. The epic mediums just get fucked. Specials stay the same. Rares get fucked. And commons stay the same. So every other level of medium cabin just gets fucked. So this means that this means your Toreros, this means your favorite cabins, they're all getting fucked. They're getting fucked out of an energy. They're not doubling, they're losing it. However, legendaries such as the Beholder stay the same. So these stay the same. So in case you're wondering if they want to make sure, like again, actually, believe it or not, the lights get buffed. Where the mediums get fucked, the lights get buffed on every other level for whatever reason. So commons light cabins now go up by energy. Rare stays the same. Specials go up. Epic stays the same. Legendaries go up. So whereas the medium cabins are stay the same, go down, stay the same, go down, stay the same. Heavy cabins go up because 9 times 2 is 18 plus 1. Go up, stay the same. Go up, stay the same. Technically go up, but still have that difference. But epic heavy cabins, I mean, at best they stay the same to what they are now, but as you see, they're increasing the energy cost of certain weapons to ensure that they aren't as useful as they were before. I don't know why they would do this. Oh yeah, by the way, get fucked, Hermes. If you were using a Hermes booster, now just use blast-offs. And by the way, they're nerfing the bonus they give to the cockpit, but it's still a buff because they don't know math. It's like, whoa, hold on a second. You're spending half as much for this blast off, so we're going to give you more than half of that in a boost. What? What? Why would you do this? And why would they change the aviator at all with the cockpit? That doesn't even make sense. Why would they do that? They both cost 1 energy. They're saying that they don't want things that cost the same amount of energy to be supplanted, and they want things to be interwoven. Why would you do that? Why would you do that anyway? It's confusing. Let's see here. Invisibility reserves. Oh yeah, Chameleon Mark 1 stays the same and gets more active. Oh, sorry, 1 second less active time. So it gets a little bit nerf on its active time. That's actually a pretty huge buff, or not buff, pretty huge nerf. Chameleon, you're paying. Well, you get double the active time, I think, in this instance. You get double the active time for double the cost, and of course the Yeti, which hasn't even been released yet, is going to cost 3 energy. Wow, just fucking wow. We haven't even got the chance to use this shit yet. Nobody has this. Nobody has this, and they're like, look, we want to nerf this shit into the ground. Nobody's even touched this shit yet, but we want to. But we're going to nerf it before you get it. This is new. I mean, that's new, right, chat? I mean, that's new. Normally, they wait for everyone to get the thing, buy the thing, use the thing, become addicted to the thing, and then they nerf it into the ground for the next patch. That's what they're doing. They're skipping this process. They're just like, look, you don't even have this shit in your pocket yet, but we're going to motherfucking take from it. Future taxes, chat. Future taxes. Holy goddamn. Anyway, nerf the Doppler. I mean, I don't know. This feels stupid. But, I mean, by the way, that just means that the hot red and the hardcore are even fucking better. Like, it just makes them even better. Because every other engine costs 2, because they're doubling the cost of everything. But hot red still costs 0? Like, what? This is, I mean, it opens up possibilities, but I don't think they know what they're doing. This will reduce the durability of builds. And you might be wondering, what? Why would you say that? And that's because of the fact that you're not going to bring more durable parts. You're going to bring more of these things. You're going to bring more R2 chills. You're going to bring more of those instead of any RN seals. You're going to bring more of this shit, which means that it's a part cost increase, right? So you're losing parts in exchange for effectiveness. It's just what you're going to do, right? You're going to bring Taimirs instead of Shivers. You're going to bring... You might just bring a Maxwell instead of a Doppler in many cases, right? Because it's like, well, why wouldn't we use the cheaper thing that does the exact same fucking thing? Like, right now, the Oculus is better than the Verifier, by the way. For many people, I've seen a lot of people use the Oculus over the Verifier because it points to the fucking bad guy. Well, I mean, now it just costs less. So there you go, right? Chameleon losing a second of active time, but now having half cost Chameleons, that's worth it. I mean, it doesn't look as though they're changing I mean, they are, technically. I believe everything else that's not listed here is just getting doubled. Yeah, I think since there's now a change in power, lower rarity, blah, blah, blah. With this change, it'll be more difficult and all the best, blah, blah, blah. So I believe the hardware cost of everything that is not listed here is doubling. So if you have an Aegis, it's going from 3 to 6. So the only reason why they made this list is if something is not being changed. So let me give you an example. They have the special module, the Argus Tormentor, Interceptor Days, the Omamori. Omamori is going from 1 to 3. So it's not doubling, it's going to 3, which means that the Averter is going from 1 to 2. Okay, so because it's not listed here anywhere. It's not listed, so it's just simply doubling. So if you're thinking of, well, I have a weapon that does this. If it's not listed here, it's just doubled. Just see it in your mind, double it. So most shotguns, their energy costs are 3. They're going to 6, right? Parser is going from 4 to 9, right? Just so you know, everything goes up by double, but I'm just making sure that's written down because I want to make sure. Blah, 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 some other modules, blah, 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 increasing power consumption to make it weak. Other module, blah, 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 we would like to test chambers in this form. 1 unit energy would be the equivalent of 0.5 units of energy on current game servers, which will allow assigning more fair. What has changed? Change primary modules and counts. All weapons and modules not listed have their energy drain doubled. Yep. There you go. So everything not listed is just doubled. Period. So technically, mini builds that people currently have may still be viable. Wait, then I don't understand why they did that here. Why would they? This is confusing to me. Why would they even bring up the RN seal? Or the shiver? That's doubled. I don't know. Like the Doppler, it's doubled. That's standard. Verifier is doubled. Chameleon is doubled. Meh, I don't know. Whatever. Long story short, this test server is going to be fucking crazy. There's too much to test. But I think they're doing it for like 6 days or something like that. Nope. So there's 4 days of testing, which I goddamn well better go to. Man, I gotta set a timer or something on the 22nd. So that's what, 3 days? Oh my god, 3 days from now, they're testing the largest crazy train changes to Crossout I have ever even seen. This is crazy shit. They're fucking over. Did you guys remember to forget? Because everyone here now has already forgotten this. Everybody that has forgotten that there's a collision change that's dramatic, that's nerfing the shit out of collision damage. I told you you'd forget. I told you that all this shit meant nothing. Everyone right now is thinking, holy shit, energy costs are going to go insane. Yeah, no, there's a collision change right up here that you guys forgot about. They're adding a new type of damage. It's called melee. This is all crazy. Shit you entirely forgot about. Fucking the harvesters are going to rip through fucking builds now because the resistance to collision has been again fucked over by a third. It's crazy shit. Oh, yeah, by the way, energy change, crazy shit. So, I sincerely recommend that everybody who watches this video download the test server and get the fuck on it on the 22nd, because shit is going down. Going down. It's going to be big. It's going to be crazy. Like, comment, subscribe, peace. You guys know how to do what to do. This is some crazy, 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 crazy shit. Peace.